Trading in Adopt Me is low-key so stressful, and for a Roblox pet collector, it shouldn't be. Adopt Me trading back in 2019 when pets first released, for example, was usually legendary for legendary, a few ultra rares or random store legendary. One of my gimmicks to getting legendary or ride pets fast was trading ride potions for them. It was a fun, easy upgrade. Nowadays in Adopt Me, if you're trying to trade for legendaries, you're most likely not going to keep them long because most legendaries are HTT. If you don't know what that means, it means hard to trade. So you're basically just trading for disposable legendaries in turn for upgrades. Imagine you're going to try to trade for a certain pet, let's say a strawberry shortcake bat dragon. I can understand, especially nowadays with value sites, and demand of said pets deem them more valuable, and cuteness especially is a big factor. But back in the day, let's say when the strawberry bat dragon came out, it'd be a few legendaries for one, maybe a neon legendary if you were overpaying. Now you have to give tons of not just neons but megas, and even then they are deemed too hard to trade. For me, the HTT term doesn't really make any sense to me. Sure, it means that pets are hard to trade, but who deems said pets easy to trade and more hard to trade? Couldn't you argue that a strawberry shortcake bat dragon would be hard to trade because of its high value and demand, making you want the best possible trade? So wouldn't that make it hardest to trade? Similarly with any high demanded pet, low tier megas should be easiest to trade because they aren't worth as much, therefore you don't have to think much on what you're going to trade them for. I can understand that you wouldn't want the low value megas for your demanded strawberry bat dragon, but that doesn't mean said pets are HTT. And I guess it is harder to upgrade with low tier megas, but that doesn't deem them HTT, at least not to me. What happened to the days of trading for the stuff we actually wanted, stayed fair, and did trades only by preference, and not what whatever made-up value site says? It's sad to see. A big part of me wishes all value sites would just get shut down, particularly ELV and AMVGG, especially since AMVGG has had a lot of controversy lately. They're like hacking people apparently? Okay, back to the script. Because their value systems are way overpriced. I keep Adopt Me trading values though personally because I feel like the values on that side are actually reasonable. But I also know that if all value sites were to get shut down, many hardcore traders would most likely quit or play less Adopt Me, resulting in less players, aka less money for the Adopt Me team. They need the money to keep the game going, and they wouldn't want that. For example, if Adopt Me themselves announced all value sites are being shut down, if that were the scenario, it would be very 50-50. I feel like the majority of the fan base dislikes values, as I do, but many rely on values way too much, and to see them leave, yeah, that wouldn't be good for Adopt Me's player count. According to a few friends, an Adopt Me test lab, they have been testing out with implementing their own value system. When it releases, if it does, it's most likely nobody will use it because ELB and the other value sites already exist. So what would be the point of using Adopt Me's official, probably more fair values when the overpriced ELF and AMVGG already exist? But if there were a scenario as to where all the value sites would shut down, people would at least temporarily be forced into using Adopt Me's values. Because even then, if the popular value sites we knew today were suddenly shut down, the community would most definitely be in a panic, going as fast as they could to make a new value site because the economy itself relies so heavily on these made-up value sites. And don't get me wrong, the value sites are calculated by demand with experienced traders within the ELF team, for example, but it's still insanely easy to just slap a big number on a pet just because. And who says the developers of said value site aren't taking advantage of that to mess with Adopt Me's economy for money? Therefore, more engagement for them, aka more money. Honestly, who even knows if Adopt Me's economy as a whole is even real anymore? At least back in the day, 2019 to 2023, yeah, sure, at least as the years went on, trading did become increasingly more difficult because of the more pets that were added. But for the most part, everyone was just going by preference only. No numbers to influence their decisions, just gut feelings and preference only. I want Adopt Me to go back to that when it was simpler. Because at this point, if value sites don't shut down, then I don't think we'll ever go back to that time. Don't get me wrong, some do strictly use happy values, and I want to myself. But as I've said before in previous videos, it's literally impossible to go by preference when most people are trading with value sites in mind, therefore making it inescapable to go by just preference. And since the value sites do exist, at least in my experience, if I do a trade without looking at the value sites, I'm usually super over, and I feel the guilt as I click accept because it's just so easy to overpay when you're not checking values, and it would be like one of those times where I wouldn't be checking values, so like I would be overpaying a ton and I didn't even realize, but I'm trying not to check values, so like in the back of my head it would be like, no, don't check values, so it's sort of a way to avoid quote-unquote mistakes by overpaying a ton, because you know you probably are over if you memorize said value site. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'd love to hear everyone's opinions in the comments. Do you agree with what I'm saying or do you disagree? I want to hear your thoughts. Just keep things kind and do not argue with those who may disagree with you. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. All right, and remember, you are safe, loved, and protected. May the universe bless you. Goodbye, my creators.